So I won first anniversary tournament in constructed format. Obligatory winner card flex with beautiful winner stamp. Deck used Purple Luffy. My matchups were very diverse. Yellow Enel, Red Zoro, Red Purple Luffy, and in final Purple Kaido. Purple Luffy is new leader from OP05. I picked him because he has really strong effect. You may add one card from your life to your hand, and if you have 0 or 3 or more Dawn cards, you can add one Dawn and set it active. So basically it's like a mix of Whitebeard leader and Onigashima Kaido. Difference is it's all built in leader's effect. So we are going really fast with our ramp. Because of that we want to go first in most matchups to abuse the tempo that we get by playing one Dawn earlier than our opponent. Game plan is really straightforward and can be summed up by 3 numbers: 4, 7 and 9. What we can do when we are going first, on our second turn we can use leader's effect to ramp one additional Dawn, so we will have 4 in total, and play one of our 4 cost 6000 power vanilla characters. As we know, Dawn to power ratio for vanilla characters is the highest, so it's the most possible play based on power. After this turn our opponent is on 4 Dawn turn. They play, let's say, Kuzan if they play Sakazuki leader, or maybe Perospero or Blocker Sanji if they play Katakuri. And then is our turn. We are on 6 Dawn and we can use leader's effect again, ramp 1 Dawn, and we will be at 7 Dawns. And it's really important because, as you can see, I have 4 copies of Pauli, 4 copies of Eustace Captain Kid. If our opponent played anything in previous turn that might be threatening, like for example 4 cost Kuzan, we can just play Poli. We should treat him like 7 cost character, because even though he's 5 cost, if we play 2 Dawns, we can add up 1 Dawn card from our Dawn deck and set it as active. So next turn we are on 10 Dawns already without any further effects. But what is important here, then if we have 8 or more Dawns on field, we can KO one of our opponent's characters with a cost 4 or less. So it doesn't matter what our opponent played, Pauli is able to KO this character. So we are getting huge tempo advantage, only possible with Monkey D. Luffy Purple leader. The following turn our opponent is at 6 Dawns, so again they can play whatever, and then the next turn we are already at 10 Dawn if we played Pauli. If we played something else, then we are at 9 Dawn, but we can still use leader's effect, take 1 life card and ramp another Dawn. And what a surprise, anything that our opponent plays with 6 cost or less, we can immediately answer with another big tempo play that is 9 cost Kaido. Not only we can KO 6 cost or less character from opponent's board, additionally we have strong attacker with rush that goes for 10,000 power. So to sum up, this is a very tempo oriented path that we can take. So we go first, we go 4, 7, 9. In every turn we can KO some threat from our opponent's board, and there isn't really anything that they can do about it, unless they don't play any threats at all. But then we have some additional possibilities. As a backup plan for a 7 cost, we have new addition from ST10, that is Eustace Captain Kid. It's strong body on board, 8000 power, and very important on play and when attacking ability, if we return 1 Dawn, our leader gains 1000 power until the start of the next turn. So if we play one of them, our leader will be 6000 power. If we chain them, our leader becomes powered up by 9 cost Edward Newgate every turn. As you probably noticed, in purple color we have a lot of effects that require us to return a Dawn. For example, Queen, Eustace Captain Kid, Magellan, X-Drake, Khalifa. And here comes in handy Eustace Captain Kid, 5 cost from the new expansion OP05. He is 5 cost 6000 power blocker, and once per turn when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck, add up 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Very strong synergy for any purple deck, even better in purple Monkey D. Luffy. If we are forced to go second, maybe we don't have all our pieces in hand or we are playing against aggro decks, we can play 5 cost Kid and then chain 7 cost kit, essentially having additional power for our leader without any cost and with the benefit of the Dawn that is returned from kit back to the Dawn deck and set again as active from 5 cost kit on field to maybe play some other threats or attach to our leader or characters to push for higher damage. However, if we go second, we have another backup plan. On our second turn, we can ramp into 5 Dawn and play Magellan. Magellan, old card from OP02 expansion. When we return 1 Dawn on play, our opponent returns 1 Dawn card from their field to their Dawn deck. So thanks to that, we are going back to our magic numbers. So next turn, if we use leader's effect, will be again 7 Dawn play and then 9 or 10 cost Dawn play. However, for our opponent it will be back to -1 Dawn with additional strong attacker on board, so we get this tempo advantage back. Obviously there is small caveat to our leader effect. We are really weak against aggro, so if our opponent notices that we maybe don't have enough counters in hand or go too low on life with our leader's effect, they can try to push for game, as our characters on board will be too big for them to attack. That's why we play defensive package that is blocker low and blocker queen. Queen from starter deck, already known, very expensive card right now, unfortunately, no reprints in sight. 5 cost, 6000 power blocker, amazing stat line, and additionally it helps us to filter our hand. As you probably noticed, we play a lot of characters without any counter power, so if we draw too many of them, we can play queen, draw 2 cards, trash 1 of our bricks, and be back on track. Another safety net is new blocker from ST10 deck, Trafalgar Law, 4 cost 5000 power. 5000 power not so effective, especially in this meta game. 4 cost also really to remove, but he has really important on-play effect. If our opponent keeps too many cards in hand, maybe they take life for card advantage, they need to be careful because we can snipe them with Trafalgar Law blocker, Dawn -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hand, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. So sometimes it's enough to ask our opponent every turn how many cards in hand they have, and they will feel the breath of the Trafalgar Law on their back and maybe misplay a little bit, even if we don't have him in hand. But if our opponent is on 7 cards in hand, we just play him down, return a Dawn, maybe we already have Eustace Captain Kit on board, so we get the Dawn back active, and we not only have a blocker on board, but also another tempo advantage, discarding 2 cards from our opponent's hand. But our 3 blockers that are Law, Queen and Kit are not the only defensive power in a deck. Additionally, we play 12 2k counters. So for this build we have Khalifa, Ulti and Drake. Khalifa, 4 cost character, good backup plan in case we don't draw our 4 cost vanilla character. For second turn play, we can always play Khalifa down, and later if she sticks to the board, if we combo her with Eustace Captain Kit for example, we can use her effect, Dawn -1, to draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from our hand. So the same effect as Queen, but when attacking instead of on play. That means in case that we brick, we can not only attack, but also filter our hand and maybe get some Dawn in return. Another card that is 2k counter is X-Drake, is the strongest power character in our deck with 2k counter. Additionally, on play effect, -1 Dawn, opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. So again, hand hate, maybe we can't play the blocker low because they have less than 7 cards in hand, but we can always play X-Drake, return 1 Dawn, and they are forced to trash 1 card. Can be really back-breaking, especially in a late game where every card counts and can be an additional counter power or even counter event. Last 2k counter that I played is Ulti. Ulti, as we know from anime, sister of page 1, they always go together, and the same ability is in the game. So even though it's 4 cost 5000 power character, so let's say we miss one of our 4 cost vanilla characters, we can always play Ulti for a lower power, but still somebody on board. But what is really important here, on playability, Dawn -1, we can play one of page 1 from our hand to the field. But here we need to be careful for a trap. if we are going first and we are on our second turn, we have already 4 dons, it might be tempting when we have both of them in hand to play the ulti page 1 combo. However, I suggest to play only page 1, as for our next turn we want to tempo into 7 cost character to then proceed into Kaido. However, if we play Pauli on turn with 7 don, the next turn will be 10 don, and then we can play 2 5 cost characters, and because we have don -1 here, we can treat ulti page 1 combo as a 5 cost. So our progression becomes vanilla into Pauli, into let's say ulti, and then queen or any other character to go white on board, especially against decks like Sakazuki and Katakuri, when they can easily remove our Kaido, and Kaido is already big investment because of don -5. We might opt to play wider on board, and because of that we can play ulti and page 1 in addition of our 5 or 4 cost characters. Our last card in the deck is Gum Gum Jet Gatling. It's a counter event. We may trash 1 card from our hand, and up to 1 of our leader or character cards gain 3000 power during this battle. As you probably noticed, we play a lot of stuff on curve, so it's really hard to float don up. Additionally, we play a lot of bricks, so characters without counter power. In total, you can see we play 16 of them, and sure, we can filter them either with Queen or Khalifa, but let's say we have too many in hand and we cannot really get rid of them or play them. Then we have Gum Gum Jet Gatling that in combination of one of these cards give us 3000 power counter, so it's like we are using 2k and 1k to counter one attack. So 2 cards, but for us it's really important because we are getting rid of those bricks together with 1 event card. So to sum up, very strong leader in OP05, especially early in the meta. Because of leader's effect, we are very consistent as we are getting 2 important things: card advantage from the draw from life and don advantage from the secondary effect. Our game plan, we want to go first, go 4, 7 and 9, or if we played Pauli, we can go 5-5 and keep Kaido as a finisher. However, if we are forced to go second, we can always go back on curve and slow down our opponent, playing Magellan on curve, or if it's not possible, the next best play is Kid into Kid and overwhelm our opponent and make it hard for him to attack into our 6000 or even 7000 power leader. But that's it for today. Short and simple deck profile. List is not optimized yet, it's just start of the meta, so it's still evolving. I will be updating the list probably for the next tournaments. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. To stay up to date with my content, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, take it easy.